Hey guys, it's Sandro here from Carcraft Auto Detailing in Melbourne. Today's video is part 7 and finally the last installment episode in my How to Professionally Detail the Vehicle series. The last step we looked at was compounding and polishing, and today I'll go over pre-wax or sealant preparation, black trim restoration, and wax and sealant application. A vital step in ensuring that any paint protection you apply will effectively bond and last for as long as possible is preparation. Most compounds and polishes contain an array of various oils and solvents that will require more than a simple wipe down with your microfiber cloth to completely remove. And if they remain on the paint while you add your choice of paint protection, you may find that these oils and solvents will greatly reduce the life of your wax or sealant. An alcohol-based cleaner, such as isopropyl or IPA, is a vital step in cleaning and collecting those oils and chemicals. In my experience, something like CarPro's eraser works just that little bit better due to the fact that it doesn't evaporate quite as quick as IPA and just seems to have a little more body to it, allowing it to be more effective than the IPA mix of water that I used to use. I like to initially spray some on my microfiber cloth and then spray and work each panel at a time, making sure that every area that I intend to apply protection to is thoroughly wiped down. For more involved paint correction and protection jobs, I'll usually wash the vehicle after the paint correction stage due to the increased compound and polish residue that usually comes with that level of work. I will also add a wax and grease removal wipe down before my alcohol wipe down to further aid in ensuring that the paint protection has the very best level of preparation possible, thus doing all I can do to maximize that higher level of paint protection. I've talked throughout this series about the different levels of detailing and how it's important for me to adapt and adjust to each detail accordingly. If time and money wasn't an issue, as it may not be for many of you out there, this would be a very different series from start to finish. But no matter what your restrictions are, hopefully most of you out there will get something from this more controlled look at detailing, as well as a better understanding of some of the dilemmas that a lot of detailers face. I've tried quite a few exterior plastic trim restorers in my time. The biggest issue with most of them is that they have poor durability as well as uneven finishes. Solution Finish is a clear winner in my opinion on both those fronts. The key once again is all in the preparation. A wax and grease remover is perfect for ensuring that the trim is free from any foreign contaminants, without being too aggressive and damaging the surface. The plastics on this truck are actually in pretty decent shape, but if I needed to, I could use a brush to scrub them down with the wax and grease remover. Apart from preparation, it's also important to give Solution Finish a nice even coat over the trim and allow it time to bond and penetrate the surface. Any overflow that makes contact with the paint needs to be wiped off immediately, and once the product has mostly dried, you need to wipe it down to remove the high spots and give it a nice even finish. If need be, you can apply a second or third coat, but on this particular truck it's really not needed. Another important point is to allow the restorer a good 24 hours to fully dry before allowing it to get wet. like to dress the tyres before the paint protection to give them time to dry before the vehicle is driven off. Also, I prefer to apply the dressing to an applicator and then work it over the face of the tyre, making sure I get into every little crevice. And just like the plastic trim restoration, I let it sit on the tyre while I do the other three, and then after it's had time to bond and absorb, I'll do a final wipe down to remove any high spots and get that nice matte or satin finish. Some of you may have seen the video I did on my top 12 waxes. A product I was testing at the time was Angel Wax's Guardian. After some further testing, I was actually really impressed with its fantastic durability and the better than average protection it provided. But most of all was its beautiful deep and glossy finish. Though quite honestly, its price is just a little too high to be appropriate for most jobs of this level. But as I had enough left over to protect this truck, I thought I'd give it a nice upgrade. Going on, Guardian is a pleasure to use, together with its great pleasant smell. Also, it's important to ensure that any protection you apply is worked evenly onto the paint. Whether you use circular motions or straight crisscrossing lines, the goal is even coverage. I also like to apply most wax and sealants to the glass, metal, and certain non-porous plastics to both boost the overall finish of the vehicle and further protect those areas. The previous times I used Angel Wax Guardian, I left it on for about 10 to 15 minutes or so until it hazed up and then wiped it off with no issues. This time, however, it was given a good hour or so to bond before being wiped off. And perhaps that was the issue I had with it, as even though it was quite a hot day, it was applied indoors on cool paint. I could have told you that it wiped off just like butter, but that would have been the overstatement of the year. In actual fact, it was a real nightmare to remove, unlike the previous times I used it. And as a fellow detailer of mine likes to put it, it was a real sweat wax that made what should have taken 10 to 15 minutes an hour-long job with enough sweat on my part to grow a patch of rice. But this was a perfect example of why I like to thoroughly test all my products before drawing any concrete conclusions or making a switch to a new product. But that aside, it did give that hard-to-pop silver paint a great finish that should see it last a good 6 to 12 months, considering it's always garaged. I really hope that this series of videos helps some of you out there in the detailing world, as it was a bit of a journey on my part making it. A big thanks goes out to the many subscribers who have given this little channel and myself so much support that makes all the difference to me. Thank you, and keep on detailing till the gloss blinds you. Cheers guys, and I'll see you in the next video.